Impact Wrestling making waves. Their move to Access TV looks great on Access TV. Access TV doing a great job with professional wrestling, Impact Wrestling, New Japan, and Women of Wrestling. Impact Wrestling Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central on Access TV. Well, next Tuesday night, Tuesday before Thanksgiving, they're going to bring you an homage to early 80s wrestling when they bring to life the Impact Provincial Wrestling Federation, where the stars of Impact Wrestling will assume wrestling characters that you might see back in the 80s, and some great names. And one of the stars joins us now on the Vaqueros Cafe and Cantina hotline. He's going to assume a moniker that is well revered in Austin, in the ATX, especially those of the Burnt Orange Persuasion. I've been fascinated with Eddie Edwards for a while, but he is a Triple Crown champion for Impact Wrestling, having been their world champion, their X Division champion, and 5-time tag team champion with his former partner, Davey Richards from the American Wolves. It is Eddie Edwards. You can follow him on Twitter at the Eddie Edwards. Eddie, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you? Thank you for that great intro, by the
way. Well, we try to pump you guys up. You guys are you're the stars.
Well done so far. Well done. Let's see how the rest of us goes.
Okay. Well, I'll do my best. Let me ask you this, because I knew you back in the day. Your tail end with Ring of Honor, and then debuting with Impact. You were one half of the American Wolves with Davey Richards. You of course since transitioned to singles wrestling. Do you have a preference, one or the other, singles versus tag team?
No, I don't necessarily have a preference. I appreciate both of them for what they are. Tag team wrestling is what I kind of made my name in, obviously, like you said, in Ring of Honor, and, getting the chance to tag with Davey was a great opportunity, and, I still love to do it anytime I get to do it. But I like the beauty of it both. Tag team wrestling is very special because it's something you don't see every day. You don't see great tag teams, kind of like you used to, or you just don't see them these days anymore. So I appreciate the art that is tag team wrestling. And then you go into the singles. The singles is when, all the pressure's on me. That's up to me. And I like that pressure. I like putting that pressure on myself and going out there and I don't have anybody to lean on. It's all up to me to go out there and do that. And in the end, I think, we all get into wrestling and professional wrestling because we want to be champions. We want to be the best. I wanted to be a tag team champion, and I currently and always want to be, the world heavyweight champion. That's just the meaning of the business.
Yeah, and you've found that. I mean, you're a Triple Crown champion in Impact, also a Triple Crown champion in Ring of Honor, being world TV and tag champion there. Let me ask you this: when you were a tag team, was there a legendary tag team that influenced you and Davey as a tag team?
I think if you just look at us, you could probably assume that would be the British Bulldogs, and that would be the answer that, we both loved. I mean, Davey's basically, he's the reincarnation of Dynamite Kid almost, you know what I mean? He always got compared to that, and I've always been a big fan of Dynamite Kid and the British Bulldogs, so them together was basically our dream team, and it was a team that we did like to model ourselves after. But it wasn't just them. It was, we like to kind of pick and choose, and of course we would watch and study, everybody who covered the Brainbusters, Tully and Arn, and the Heart Foundation, and the Rock and Roll Express, Midnight Express. There's so many legendary tag teams. We would always try to study and try to take bits and pieces from each team that we could.
Talking with Eddie Edwards. Again, follow him on Twitter at the Eddie Edwards. So let's talk about this kind of current run as singles competitor, especially since I think it was early 2018. There was the whole thing with you and Sami Callihan in the Bat. But since then, you've kind of adopted a more, I guess, best way to put it, a hardcore edge to your style. In your style, you've always been a great technical wrestler. You weren't afraid to take the risk off the top rope. But now there's a little bit of a hardcore style. You've been coming to the ring with Kenny, the kendo stick. Was there something that you decided, hey, I want to try this? What prompted that transition?
I mean, honestly, it was the fact that that getting hit in the face with a baseball bat tends to do that to a man. No, but honestly, with that whole situation with the baseball bat, it was kind of something that just fell into my lap and then Impact our lap, altogether. It was like, well, here's the situation. Here's something that, the whole story I thought people could relate to. Sammy first, hits me in the face with a baseball bat, breaks my face, and then, terrorizes my wife and my friends and stuff like that. And I think it was something where the people can relate to. Everybody's been pushed to that brink. And it was just a matter of, okay, well, this is a chance that we have for myself to evolve. And like you say, I've always been a technical wrestler, and I like to say that I still am. I can go out there, but I like to mix it up with all these different styles. So when this chance came to me, where it's like, well, it's either evolve and try to do something different and get creative and see what we can do with it, or it's, get hit in the face with a baseball bat and then, a couple of months later, I'm back, to the regular Eddie Edwards, which would be fine with me. But we saw this golden opportunity. Like, all right, let's see what can happen. Worst case scenario, maybe I don't fit the role, maybe I can't do what I want to do, and I go back to what I was doing. But it was a chance to be creative and a chance to step outside my comfort zone, which is something that, I've always enjoyed doing in my career. If it doesn't scare you, what's the point of doing it? So that's kind of the way we looked at it and the way I looked at it going into it.
And it's been fun to watch this transition. I remember, of course, you've had some rivalry since then with Moose, with, of course, Sami Callihan. And you had the alliance and then rivalry with Tommy Dreamer. And I know Tommy Dreamer has been somewhat of an influence on this. How much have you learned from Tommy Dreamer in incorporating this into your character?
Honestly, it's hard to even, to try to explain how much he's done for myself and for Impact Wrestling and for wrestling in general. Like, even before, we did this stuff together in Impact, he was always somebody that I would go to when I would ask his advice, because Tommy won't pull punches. If something's good, he'll tell you it's good. If something sucks, he'll tell you it sucks. And that's what so many of us need. I think that's what everybody needs in life. But he's kind of been my Yoda, if you will. I go to him and I ask his opinion and stuff like that, and he'll give me the brutal honesty. And sometimes it's something I don't want to hear, but something I need to hear. And then obviously the chance to be able to do stuff with him as far as tagging and then wrestling against him and him gifting me a kendo stick. These are all moments that if you went back in time and told my 15-year-old self that, Tommy Dreamer would be gifting me a kendo stick in the middle of a ring after I defeated him in a hardcore match, that's something that would blow my mind. And that's not lost on me today, that every time I get to go in the ring and do something with these guys that, I've admired and I still do admire, it's honestly, it's an honor to be able to do it.
I can imagine so. And Tommy Dreamer has such a great reputation, throughout the wrestling business with what he does, not only in the ring, but outside the ring with all the coaching. Let me ask you this. Is there one or two things in your career that you are most proud of, whether it's the world titles, winning the GHC world title in Noah? Give us a couple moments that you look back with a lot of pride and saying, yeah, I did that.
I've been lucky. There have been a lot of good moments. And you just mentioned the GHC championship. Winning the heavyweight championship of Pro Wrestling Noah was something that honestly, I never thought that I would even get a chance to do. I went over to Noah in 2005 was the first time I went over, and I was living over there in the dojo and training and all that. And there were some rough times and some real tough times for myself over there. And it was just, a whole change of scenery and all this. And then, I've always been a fan of Japanese pro wrestling. And so to be able to go over there and have a chance to face Nakajima for the GHC Heavyweight Championship and then come out winning that, I've seen my idols have held on to that belt. That exact belt that I was holding on that green mat, the belt that I was holding above my head was held by, Kobashi and Misawa and Kenta and Takayama and Sugiura and Akiyama and Taue. All these guys that are instilled in the Japanese pro wrestling, in pro wrestling in Japan, but also, in the States, in the world of pro wrestling. These guys are the tops, and I am able to put myself I'm in those history books, which to me, it still blows my mind even talking about it now, and it still gives me chills at this time, just to even go back and think about. That's definitely one of the biggest ones. And then to go back, winning the heavyweight title in ROH from a man who is my good friend and still is, Roderick Strong, to be able to go to the Manhattan Center and defeat him for that title. It's always better when you beat your friends. To go out there and beat him. And then, of course, Impact Wrestling, beating Bobby Lashley for the heavyweight championship as well. These things, these are all singles accomplishments that I'm talking about right now because that may be fresh on my mind.
Mm-hmm.
But to be able to do that, those are things that I'm very grateful to be able to get that opportunity. I'm grateful to be able to go out there and face these guys that I admired and go out and go in there and go head to head with them. And then, one more. As far as tag-wise, when we came to Impact Wrestling, we got to do a series of matches, myself and Davey against Team 3D and the Hardys. If that doesn't blow your mind as a fan of wrestling and as a fan of tag team wrestling, I don't know what will. And we got to do that again, as well as the Manhattan Center, table matches and stuff like that. These are moments that, I'm going to think about when I'm hopefully rocking away on my porch in my rocking chair. These are moments that I'm going to be telling people about, and I'll never forget, till the day I die.
Some great moments, absolutely. And you mentioned winning the GHC Heavyweight Championship. You were the first Gaijin to win that title in Pro Wrestling Noah, right?
Yeah, I'm still the only foreigner to hold that heavyweight championship.
I mean, that's huge. That's a big accomplishment. That shows how much faith Pro Wrestling Noah had in you to carry their top championship. So hats off to you. What an amazing career, and it's going to continue. I have no doubt it's going to continue on. Let's talk about Impact on Access. Of course, yeah. Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, Access TV. The move to Access has been a huge boost. I would assume for Impact Wrestling, for the locker room. You've got this great platform. Access TV has done pro wrestling really well. Just talk about the energy that's on with the roster now that they are being seen every week on Access TV.
Oh, I mean, it's like you said, Access is giving us this brand new platform. It's an exciting time, and it's an exciting time in pro wrestling overall. For Impact Wrestling, getting onto Access, you can feel it in the locker room. The great thing about being a wrestler is, I have to go out there and wrestle, and I have to go out there and perform. But there's so much stuff going on behind the scenes. There has been for so long, and it's been going in the right direction. It's been going in the right direction, continuously doing the right thing. But we were just waiting for that moment, waiting for that something to happen that can help elevate us to the next level. And this jump to Access, I mean, this is it. You can feel the energy in the crowd. You can feel it in the locker room. You can feel it in the back. You can feel it walking into the building that this is a special time. And this is a time that for us as Impact Wrestling, it's on a bigger scale. We get to say, all right, we wanted this chance. This is our chance. Let's show the world what Impact Wrestling is about. And let's give them no excuses. There's no reason to not tune into Impact Wrestling. At this point, we have something for everybody. We have the knockouts. We have the hardcore stuff. We have some of the best high flyers in the world. We have the heavy. We get a little bit of everything right now, and it's like, here, world, this is what we got. Tune in and check us out. And if you're not happy with it, I don't know what will make you happy as a pro wrestling fan.
As a pro wrestling fan nowadays, especially in the United States, there's such a great assortment that is available to you, and Impact Wrestling definitely has encapsulated it all. So let's talk about this special episode of Impact Wrestling. It's going to happen next Tuesday night, where Impact does a throwback throwdown, kind of an homage to 80s wrestling. So Impact Wrestling becomes the Impact Provincial Wrestling Federation. So tell folks about what we're going to see next Tuesday night on Impact Wrestling.
Yeah, it's a throwback episode. It's really like you're going to travel. You're going to turn on your Honda Access TV, and it's going to be like you're traveling back to the 80s. It's a studio setup type thing where there's interviews going on. It's like just a callback to the old days where there's some fun and interesting gimmicks. it's a fun episode. Like I know I had a blast doing it. Everybody I spoke to and talked to in the back had just a great time, doing the stuff that we're doing and filming what we were doing. The wrestling is going to be great. You're going to see some new and different characters. I'm going to show up. I'm going to be somebody different. It's just, you're not going to know what to expect, but just expect, fun and expect a good time. That's all I can say. Expect a good time. And it's something that people are going to be talking about.
Well, as a child of the 80s, I grew, I'm 51 years old, so I grew up on 80s wrestling. So I know I'm going to have an absolute blast. And speaking of your character, so when I got the press release, I'm flipping through it and I see your name. And the name holds a lot of admiration, especially here in Austin, Texas, because you're going to portray Cowboy Colt McCoy. Now,
that's right.
I mean, when we hear Colt McCoy in these parts, we're thinking one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever grace the burnt orange. 46 victories, held the record for most victories, and, should have won the Heisman a couple times. Did that play anything into how you portrayed this character for this special episode?
I mean, obviously the name Colt McCoy, as soon as you said it, all those football fans, everybody perked up and, everybody kind of like, huh? Turn their head. And, that's a lot of pressure to put on myself. But I was prepared to try to represent Colt McCoy and the Cowboys the best that I could. And, honestly, Texas, has a special place in my heart. Myself and my wife, we got married in Austin. We have family friends down there. We've been back and forth there many times. So I feel like I've been I've been an understudy for this role for quite some time now. So I went out there and I tried to perform the best that I could to my ability. And, hopefully I don't let you guys down. That's all I can say. You guys, you take the notes. You take the notes. You let me know how I did. And I just hope I don't let you down. That's all I can say.
Well, look, the promo picture I saw, you flashed the hook'em. That right there will win you, the rest of the wrestling fans, at least in Austin, or anybody else that loves the Texas Longhorns. So you got that going for you, which is nice.
So good.
That was awesome.
Mission accomplished.
Absolutely. Eddie Edwards. You can follow him on Twitter at the Eddie Edwards. Catch him on Impact Wrestling every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central on Access TV. And don't miss the special IPWF Throwback Throwdown edition next Tuesday night, the Tuesday before Thanksgiving on Access TV. Eddie, all the best to you. So glad I got to talk to you. When you get back down to Austin, please let me know. I'd love to get together with you. If for no other reason, just, share a meal and hear some stories. But all the best to you, man, and all the best to everybody at Impact Wrestling.
Man, I greatly appreciate that, and thank you for taking your time out and spreading the word of Impact Wrestling. These fans just tune in and check us out, and hopefully I see you soon. If I'm back down that way, I will let you know, my friend.